Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Yogi's Cycle Service. I am happy to be here with you again today. Today, what we got planned, not just Softail, not just Harley, but there are a lot of motorcycles out there. Well, every motorcycle out there has front forks, but there are a lot of motorcycles out there that after a certain amount of miles that you get put on, these front forks start looking pretty nasty. And if you look at this fork here, you will just see a ton of pitting and a ton of corrosion, and that's an aluminum fork. And many motorcycles have aluminum forks on there. And the problem you get with after a lot of miles, and this one has 100,000 miles on it, you just get pitting. And the thing about the Harley forks is they put a protective clear coat over these forks. And after a while, that clear coat starts breaking down, from the sunlight, the UV rays, from the miles, from the weather, from the wear and tear. That clear coating starts breaking apart and it starts pitting. So today we went to Walmart to get some stuff, try to do some experiments to see what's the best way to clean these forks and get them clean again. So some of the items we bought are some number 40, I don't know how you'd say that, but 0000 steel wool. We bought a kit which can be used for the Dremel. It is a 20-piece kit that it's called the cleaning and polishing set. So it has a bunch of different wheels in here that you can attach to your Dremel and use for polishing. We bought some mag and aluminum polish made by Mothers. Mag and aluminum polish for polishing aluminum surfaces. And we brought some the green with the sponge scouring pads that we can use for some scrubbing if we need some scrubbing. So we have the steel wool to try to see if we can use that to get that film off of there. The aluminum polish to try to get rid of some of the pitting. We can try these to see if this helps. I do not anticipate this video being a video of you watching me polish my front fork, so we're probably just going to focus today on just this fork for simplicity of camera, but I will wind up doing both forks. I'm going to do a lot of editing to this video to try to keep it to a short video to see what things work and what things don't work. So we'll be doing a lot of editing of this to kind of cut it and keep it short for you. But before we dive into that, I got one thing. Got my first piece of customer appreciation fan mail, I guess you'd call it. It is from my buddy out of New York. Just want to throw a shout of thanks to Frank, who went online to the Boston Scally Company. He was noticing my hat from one of the last videos. He says, "Man, I like that hat. My son's telling me I need to buy this. I want to get you one too." So, without further ado, go ahead and open this up and show you a Boston Scally Company hat. Look at that. Side profile awesomeness. So we're going to go ahead and switch out caps, and I think I found my new favorite hat. So this is a Boston Scally Company hat. They are pretty sweet. This hat, interesting story, when we were one of our adoptions over in Ukraine, I found this hat over in Ukraine, and the conversion rate, it was about $8, and I was like, man, I gotta have that. And I have worn this hat all the time since then, but I think I found a new favorite hat. So thank you, Frank, for the hat. We'll use it in today's video, and I appreciate it very much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open up the Mothers. And probably what I'm gonna do is grab a rag, and we're gonna start with a rag first and try to apply some of the Mothers on there with a rag and see if it makes any difference. I did take some before pictures. After we're done, we're gonna take some after pictures. We're gonna put them side by side at the end of the video, so you can see what worked best and how we got to that finished product. So stand by, let me grab a rag, and we'll go ahead and get started with a rag. All right, we got our rag. It is a clean rag, so we're gonna start off with the Mother's polish using that. Directions are: apply a small polish with a soft, clean microfiber tailor cloth and buffer to a finish. There you go. Let's see what this does. It obviously is getting some stuff off, but that could be road grime. All right, well, if that's gonna work, that's gonna be a heck of a lot of scraping, a heck of a lot of elbow grease. It is definitely getting some of the material off, but that's gonna take forever. Let's up the game a little bit. Let's go ahead and break out some of the grade 0000 steel wool. Let's up the game with that. Look at that. That is working. It's actually working quite well. It's working very well. We'll polish on the steel wool and see how that works. We'll polish on the steel wool and see how that works. All right, now we have the Dremel set up, and with this kit, we've taken one of the pads out of there, plus a little spindle, hooked it up to our Dremel. I've gone ahead and put some polish around the outside. So we're gonna turn this on, attempt not to splatter the camera, and we're gonna use the Dremel to try to see if we can get some of this pitting. We're gonna put it on low speed. We're going to try to use this to try to see if we can get rid of some of that pitting in there. All right, well that one doesn't work too good. Let's try to use a different one of these. Maybe what we'll do is switch to the one with the screw in it. Of course, not the screws, but this one. I'm gonna put a screw through it. Note to self, with those pads, the one with the screw point does not work very well. Use the one that has a shaft with a screw that goes through it. Make a hole through your pad, that way it locks your pad in. I think this will work much better. So let's try this. We'll go ahead and put some more polishing compound on it. All right, so we got some more polish compound on it. Should be ready to go now. So let's try this. Screw off, I can hit your fork worker. That's a bad deal. Let's keep going. All right, now we've used that. I think we've worn this little disc out. I think it's seen better day. So let's go ahead and wipe down this fork. Turn this rag inside out, wipe down this fork, and see what we got. Well, first impressions, I would say that the polish is better. Has definitely shined it up and helped it. There is still just an absolute ton of pitting on there. I would say it is better by far, but it still has a lot of pitting. All right, so now that we've spent about a good half hour or so, we tried first using the mag and aluminum polish by Mother's with a rag. Didn't do anything. We then moved into steel wool, the 0000 steel wool with the Mother's polish. That seemed to take that finish off. That was the protectant layer that comes from the factory. It seemed to take that off to get it down to the aluminum to where I could polish it. We then took the Dremel and put a polishing wheel on the Dremel and hit it with a Mother's polish with the Dremel until we wore the little wheel out on the Dremel. My impressions of it, it did help. It does definitely look shinier. It did help clean it up. There is still a lot of, you can see residual pitting that's left in it now. That may be something that maybe I never get rid of because maybe it has so many miles and just has deteriorated so much that I'm never going to get it to look like it should. But I'd be interested in your feedback. You know, what other things have you tried? I know with rust, a good trick with rust, especially on chrome, is using aluminum foil dipped in water, and you use that to scrub off to get the rust off. That doesn't remove the pits, but it'll remove surface rust that's on the surface. It's kind of like, basically like using this, more or less. It's better. And I'll definitely do the other side this afternoon so it looks balanced, but it is not perfect. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board and see if there's something else that I can do to help shine that up. Things to note when using this, since it had the screw going through, since we switched from the little screwing kind, which had this little screw tip, to the one which has, you use a little jeweler screwdriver to screw it down into it and putting the hole through this pad. I like this much better than I like that little screw tip thing because the pad would eject off of this. But be very careful when using this that you don't have this part of the Dremel or that part of the Dremel hit anywhere on your fork because it will scratch it. So be very careful when using a Dremel. Definitely use it on low speed. It does help. It has definitely helped this fork out, but I would say we still got work to do to try to make it look a little bit more polished and a little bit more clean. I might have to do a whole lot more work in it, and it might even involve taking this fork off the bike so we can work on it and really do it maybe more like a wet sand, because I have a feeling I'm going to have to sand this down because that pitting's probably pretty deep and it's deeper than what a polish can really remove and finish. I'm going to have to probably get more aggressive with it to really get it clean and really get rid of that and get it out. And honestly, I don't know if I really want to do that, if I really care that much. This is more of a daily ride bike than it is any kind of show bike. So as long as I can get this clean and looking pretty good, I might just call it quits there. But food for thought. If you guys got any other kind of advice or any other opinion, I'd be welcome to take it. I thank you for joining us today at Yogi Cycle Service. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful week. I will talk to you soon. Take care.